GEO. That stands for Generative Engine Optimization. What does it mean? Well, in essence, is just a buzzword, but people seem to think that it's what you call when you rank on AI or LLM-based search engines like Perplexity, which, by the way, we're ranking here first. What's the best AI writer for SEO? We rank first. This was our previous brand name. We've since rebranded to Arvo, so we have to ask it here into ChatGPT. What's the best AI writer for SEO, etc.? We're mentioned right here. There you go, a brand mention, and on Grok as well for this prompt, a brand mention right here. So GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization, is the way in which you optimize a site or a brand to show up in these LLM or AI-based search engines. Now, how do you do this? Well, regardless if you're using GPT, Perplexity, Grok, or even Google's new AI mode, all these engines, what they do, whether that's Google's AI mode, right? All they do, GPT, Perplexity, Grok, Claude, all they do is they aggregate info. That's all they do. While previously, when you were searching for something like best car brands of 2025, right? Well, previously you'd go here and click this and see, okay, this is interesting, then watch the video and find, okay, and gather all this knowledge. Your brain would click all these, right, and make your own analysis and gather all this knowledge and then make a choice, right? Now, these sort of make it easier on you, right? When I say AI mode, I'm not speaking about AI overview, right? AI overview is something different. The Google's AI mode is this right here, which is in essence Google's version of a conversational based search engine embedded on Google, basically, just their version of ChatGPT, basically. And again, point being is that this is very important. All these engines do is they aggregate info. They're aggregating all the info into a little concise block of text, so you don't have to go out there and look for stuff, right? Again, previously you'd click all these, watch the videos, read the tweets, click the LinkedIn post, whatever. You take all this and make your choice. Now they aggregate all this info and then concise it, right? And they put it in a little box of text for you, right? For example, what's the best AI writer for SEO? Well, they sorted through all these sites, all these sources to give me this answer. Right here, Grok, which is the LLM from Twitter, right? They sorted through all these tweets, all these sites to give me all this info in a concise manner, So I don't have to do all this. It does all the work for me. It's a way more convenient way of search. That's all this is. Now, how do you show up on here? Well, I said this before over and over again. You can go watch this and this video. I'll link it down below in the description. But in essence, you have to be producing content. Here's an example, right? Looking at Thinkific. Thinkific is an online course platform where you can host your courses online. That's basically what they are. And what they have here is a page comparing them versus the competition, right? This big wall, this big page comparing them versus the competition, their features, their pricing, all this stuff in depth. So what do you think is going to show up if I go into GPT and say, okay, new chat, I need a course hosting platform. What should I choose? Be concise, right? Now, because these LLMs, right, these are conversational engines, right? You prompt it, right? You prompt it, and it gives you an answer. Then based on this answer, you prompt it again, it gives you another answer. You're basically refining the search. Again, while with the classic Google and Bing search engines, you're gonna be clicking links, watching videos, reading blog posts, reading tweets, reading all this stuff, right? And then doing the refination in your brain. Here, it's a back and forth conversation. And the more you prompt it, the more refined the search gets until you find whatever you want to buy or service or product, right? This is what it is, right? Okay, this is a couple, okay, I'm thinking teachable, okay. I need one that's not too expensive and allows me to, and then let's say, for example, I'll go here, Thinkific, let's see here, boom, unlimited students. Have unlimited students. There you go. Now it's refining. And where do you think it's getting this info from, right? There you go, Thinkific. Why? Because Thinkific has wrote about this. There's people on Reddit who published about this, right? This info isn't being made up, right? All these sources, Thinkific, online course hosts, YouTube videos, right? This info right here isn't created out of thin air. It's not made up. This is right here, and it's telling me it's the best one because it knows, based on the search it did through the website, through social, that Thinkific is an online course hosting platform that has unlimited seats. And again, whichever was my prompt is going to be refined based on the info that's out there. So if you're a software company, and I've made a video on this, go watch this and this one, I'll leave it in the description as well. If you're a software company, right, you want to be producing an in-depth overview of all your features, all your solutions, what the platform is, the pricing, comparing yourself with the competition, because you never know if the prompt would be different here. It could be like, hey, I'm looking into Kajabi, does it allow me to do XYZ? Well, no, but think if it does, because we've researched it based off of this source. Hopefully this is making sense. So you gotta be producing content. Now, granted, the way in which you increase the likelihood of being mentioned on these LLMs or of being cited is through syndication, right? As you see here, Grok goes to Twitter posts, goes to websites, GPT goes to YouTube, websites, blogs, LinkedIn, right? All these take info from all of these different sources. These are our videos right here. We're being cited right here on Perplexity from YouTube. And so your goal is to syndicate as much as you possibly can. So when you produce a piece of a blog or a feature page, right, syndicate it to a YouTube video, syndicate it to a LinkedIn post, to a Facebook post, to a Twitter or, excuse me, an X post, because you know that, for example, Grok, which is Twitter's LLM, right, they're going to be citing tweets, right? So if you have a blog post or a post you posted on your site that's ranking on Google, that's great, right? But then convert that into a tweet to increase the chances you're going to be picked up by Grok. Convert that into a LinkedIn post, right? Syndicate your content. And a tool, shameless plug, that allows you to do this is Arvo, right? With Arvo, you can use Arvo to produce content for your site. And I mean, we have a ton of case studies of people who use it. It just works, right? To increase their site's traffic, right? And with this, you can have a post be posted to your site and automatically syndicated to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all at once to increase the likelihood you show up on these LLMs. Now, again, there's more right here. This guy is also about syndication because he took a bunch of YouTube videos. There's a case study here if you want to watch it. He took a bunch of YouTube videos in English, right? He used Arvo to convert all these videos into blogs in French. So he converted the medium of consumption from video to written format. And then he also converted the language. He was able to get almost 6,000 in monthly organic search traffic just doing this, using this feature right here, which is the video to blog post feature. So it's all about syndication. You don't need to use this. It's just my example. By the way, I own Arvo, so there you go. If you buy it, I make money. Regardless, point being is that to show up in any of these LLMs, right, anything, right, first you have to be producing content, right? Because again, these won't make up content out of thin air, right? They'll go and browse your site, browse all your pages, browse all the info on your site. So you have to have info on the site. And then to increase the likelihood you're mentioned, right? Well, syndicate it all across social media. Convert the videos you've posted to blog posts. Also the other way around. Syndicate to LinkedIn, Twitter. Hopefully you get the point by now. And also, backlinks are also very important because you'll notice that the sources right here, they come from multiple sites, not just ours. So this right here mentions our brand and has a backlink to our brand. So having backlinks is key. Link building is still very important 2025 and beyond. You can go watch this and this right here, which teach you step by step without a paywall how to build backlinks, how to build exact same backlinks we build for our own brand. That if you want me to build them for you, I charge you $150 a pop. So these two right here teach you exactly how to build backlinks that again are key because the more mentions you have across the board of your brand, whether that's on social, your site, whatever, and on other websites that's achieved through link building, through backlinks, right, the better for these LLM or AI-based search engines, okay? Now, I want to reiterate the fact that these search engines are conversational. Let me give you an example. For example, I started gardening and I use a wooden gardening bed, but during the rainy season, apologies for my writing season, it gets all messed up. What's a good material I should be using, right? There you go. Now, I say this example because this also works with e-commerce. If I go here to epicgardening.com, they're a gardening supply store, right? They have all these blogs, they do SEO for the blogs rank, the site ranks itself, but they have a Shopify store associated with a website, of course, right? And they have these gardening beds, right? And if you want to overview or in-depth video on e-commerce SEO, go watch this right here. Again, I'll leave all these videos in the description, but go watch it because I talk about this in a bit more depth. Point being is that these pages are done in a way that helps them be mentioned on LLMs, right? It talks about the product, pretty straightforward, product details, like specifications, how to use, which not a lot of people have, and then its actual key features and the material breakdown. Not just going over like what it's made out of, but why it's made out of this material. So if I go here and say, hey, listen, it's galvanized steel. Okay, what are some brands that make garden beds out of steel, right? So it's conversational. It's a back and forth conversational engine, right? And I could reach these guys right here through a whole different decision tree. I could just say, hey, listen, I'm afraid that my vegetables are becoming toxic because I'm using this gardening bed made out of steel that's not USDA approved. Can you find me some USDA approved paint, or excuse me, garden beds with this paint? Yes. Hey, here's one. Why does it mention this? Because it's written right here. So it's very important that you're super specific about what your product is, the pain points it solves, all its use cases. It's all about giving as much context as you can through your site as possible. It's all it is. Again, if you want a bit more in-depth video on this, watch the one that I just told you. So this is it. There's no secret. GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. It's all about doing the classic SEO as well on your site and all that, but also being present and syndicating your content to social media. That's mostly all it is. And something else that also helps is press releases, okay? PR, press releases. I made a video dedicated on this on how to build press releases for free. And these help because if you have a PR going out to all these notorious and authoritative news sites in your niche, right? Well, it's a bunch of brand mentions all at once. So if you want to learn how to build press releases and why they're valuable, go watch this right here. All right, so click it. It's going to be down below in the description. And yeah, if you want a bit more detailed step-by-step on how all this works with tangible, actionable tips, go watch this right here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.